All right, Rick, just kind of going into your now sophomore season, doesn't really feel like that long ago that you were still going through the whole recruiting phase and stuff like that, but just kind of walk us through your freshman year. Do you feel like that you kind of lived up to the expectations? Is there some areas that you feel like maybe you could have done more than what you did?
I felt like my freshman year was a learning experience. There was a lot of things I could have learned on. There was a lot of things that I did okay on. But overall, my freshman year was a learning experience. And I know more this year than I did last year.
How do you feel like you are from just a total, just overall strength standpoint versus where you were as a true freshman?
I feel way better. Spring ball, it was like night and day for me. Spring ball was so much better for me than it was last year. I'm expecting, I expect so much from myself to do as best as I can to help myself and the team.
I know I've spoken with some guys in the past, and they always kind of have their welcome to the SEC moment to where maybe, hey, in high school I could grab this guy and just toss him out of the way. Can you talk about your kind of welcome to the SEC moment?
Mine was Georgia. Georgia game, I had a stunt, and I gapped wrong by moving this foot instead of that foot, and he got me, and he slammed me on my back. So, therefore, that was my welcome to the SEC.
What was it like watching the film after that? Did you know it was coming? Was it something that the coaches kind of pointed out, or it was just one of those?
I knew it was coming because I think that led to a long run or a touchdown or something like that. So I knew that was coming.
So what is that like for a guy like you? Because, you're a highly touted recruit. You could have gone to a number of schools. I know it came down to one of those last hour choices. Do I want to go to Georgia? Do I want to go to South Carolina? And ultimately you made your decision. But, what is the kind of the mindset when you say, okay, I got to get better?
My mindset is really I know what I did last year, and let's improve that, honestly. And then the year after that, let me improve that. And then if I stay another year, then improve that. That's my overall mindset, is to not be stuck at the same level, to improve each time.
I know we talked about the physical improvement, the strength improvement. What is it like for guys your age that come in and have to work mentally? What kind of strain does it put on you guys mentally to kind of get used to the whole idea of being a college student, in addition to wanting to become the best football player you can be?
It puts a lot. Coming in, you know nothing, really. You know, nothing. You might think you know something, but you really don't. So for you coming in, it's gonna be it's going to be a ton of stuff that you got to know, you got to do, be on time, don't do this or this going to happen. If you don't do this, that's going to happen. It's just, you got to be aware. You don't want to be so tunnel vision. You need to have an open eye for everything. If you see a little, you see a lot. See a lot, see a little. From one of our speech, I forgot what his name was, but we got that from our speech. So you got to see what you need to see to where you can see everything.
So I know a lot of you guys, are taught team first, which makes sense. But as a person like yourself who obviously, expects a lot from yourself, you've had some success in high school, you had some success last year as a true freshman. What expectations have you placed on yourself this year? Is there numbers that you have in your head you want to achieve, or is there just kind of an overall picture you want to achieve?
My goals this year is to improve on my stats, to have stats every game. That is my goal. I got to have some type of stats. I can't, last year I had games where I didn't have no stats, and that was not acceptable at all. And I just want to make sure I do everything to help the team, pretty much. I don't want to hurt nothing. I want to.
When you look at the team last year, Muschamp is a coach who historically is known to be a defensive mastermind. He's always known as a guy that has, one of the top defenses year in and year out. Then you have a season like last year where the defense gets hit probably as hard by the injury bug as any team in recent history. What kind of pressure does that put on guys like yourself week in and week out, knowing, okay, we're shorthanded, I got to try maybe do a little bit more? What was that mindset like?
It came hard. I remember Clemson game, I did not expect me to play that much that game. I played more than I expected, but it's a lot. But at the end of the day, if it happens, you got to deal with it. You have to. Ain't no end of the day, ain't no, turnover. If you actually want to go to places you want to be, you got to deal with those speed bumps. And that was a big speed bump, so you got to deal with it, really.
When you look at the team last year, of course, you had a very successful offensive output against a team like Clemson, who obviously was the best in the country. but then you kind of move on to your next couple of games and, didn't score for 6 quarters, things like that.
Yes, sir.
Defensively, do you guys kind of have a chip on your shoulder? Like, okay, hey, the offense has the capability to put up big numbers, but then there's other times where we've got to step up. Does the defense kind of have
something like that?
Right. Does the defense kind of have that mentality right now? Like,
yes,
okay, last year we got to erase that. We want to get on the field and prove ourselves.
We want to be number one with the turnovers. You have to be. Like, we got to have our turnovers got to be. We just got to. Like last year, our turnovers went down compared to the year before that, and like that's unacceptable again. Like, you just have to improve that. You have to.
I'm gonna change gears a little bit on you because it's been well documented. Your mom is one of the more vocal moms on the team.
Yes,
in the years past, players like Bryson Allen Williams' mom was kind of that same type of role as far as being a vocal parent. Do you notice like a lot of like camaraderie between the parents that kind of help out with things like that as far as making the path easier? When sometimes parents, once college kind of comes off, their hands off. Do you enjoy having that kind of vocal parent?
Yeah. Once again, like not having your parent all up in there comes with pros and cons. Like sometimes your parents might be too involved or overprotective, but like at the end of the day, what they're doing is in the best for you. And like sometimes they just like gotta let you know, like, let me make some decisions. Let me make a problem and like figure out how I need to solve it on my own, honestly.